Less than a week and Black Panther is here on the big screen. I am super excited about that. So I went back to analyze Captain America Civil War through the eyes of Black Panther. Welcome to Durbania, I'm Durbin, and this is my theological analysis for Captain America Civil War through the eyes of Black Panther. Spoilers ahead. I really love Civil War, and I think Civil War is just an epic introduction of Black Panther into the MCU. He's a fantastic character, and I loved what they did with him in this movie. They attached me to him in the first 5 seconds of him being on the screen, and he has this amazing journey from being consumed by vengeance to all the way over here, letting go and surrendering his need for vengeance. And it's an inspiring story right there in the middle, and it just attaches me to his character all the more. So looking at Civil War through his eyes, through his perspective, the Avengers are dangerous. Now, when we first meet T'Challa and we meet his father, they're at the meeting in Vienna, the UN meeting to sign the Sokovia Accords. And like I said, I feel like I get attached to him and his father in the first 5 seconds of this movie, and I just feel like in the first 5 seconds I can see what good people they are. So I don't think they hate the Avengers. I don't think they're trying to be dictators over the Avengers, but they're trying to provide a task force that has oversight over the Avengers, so that the Avengers has somebody to answer to, that they have accountability, and so that there is some measure of control. So, I mean, when you look at Civil War, it is a movie about control. People are afraid of the Avengers, so they're seeking a way to try to control the Avengers, so that way they don't have to be afraid of them. I don't think that's T'Challa's perspective, because I think T'Challa is looking at the big picture. And in the big picture, he wants accountability. And the Sokovia Accords is the best bet for that accountability.
Why, you don't approve of all this?
The Accords, yes. The politics, not really.
And so he has faith and what he's seeing here in the big picture. Then the unthinkable happens. A bomb goes off. Bucky Barnes is framed for it. T'Challa's father is killed in the blast. And T'Challa's world changes in that instant. His vision changes in that instant. This dude gets filled with pain. He gets filled with anger. He gets filled with bitterness. And he gets this tunnel vision towards Bucky. And that's what vengeance does. It's a tunnel visioning. It's a tunnel vision effect. It just funnels that vision to the object of hatred and says, take that one out. Get satisfaction for the harm and the pain that they inflicted on you. Let them feel the pain that you have felt. And that is the tunnel vision that Black Panther is now having towards Bucky Barnes. And the fact is, 5 minutes before, he was looking at the big picture. But now, as Black Widow and him are talking,
Task force will decide who brings in Barnes.
Don't bother, Miss Romanoff. I'll kill him myself.
I mean, he was all for the signing of the Accords for the big picture. But now, who cares about the task force? It's about control. Vengeance is about control. And he doesn't care about the task force. He doesn't care about the Accords. He doesn't even care about their ability to bring in Bucky Barnes. What he cares about is getting his satisfaction and killing the man who killed his father.
I'll kill him myself.
That's what vengeance does. That is the type of control vengeance urges us to take. And it's the type of tunnel visioning. Wow, I'm making new words here. It's the type of tunnel visioning effect that it creates. And the other thing about it is vengeance is so self-centered. It is so self-focused. I mean, throughout this movie, it's all about him getting the satisfaction of killing Barnes. I mean, when Barnes is escaping and he's running on the roof and they have their first battle where Black Panther shows up on the roof to fight Barnes, did you see Black Panther with handcuffs? No. Did you see him with a tranquilizer dart to knock out Barnes just so he could take him in? No. He was there, claws out, ready to go. He was going to kill that dude. It was not about arresting him. It was not about bringing him in. It was about, you killed my father, prepare to die. I mean, they're on the roof and they're having an epic battle, which is interrupted by Captain America. Then the whole thing is interrupted by their arrest. And as they're in the car and they're being driven into the station, a very interesting and very telling conversation unfolds. In fact, I think in this conversation, it is the most whiny and self-centered part of Black Panther we see.
Now, because your friend murdered my father, I also wear the mantle of king. So I ask you, as both warrior and king, how long do you think you can keep your friend safe from me?
I mean, he's first talking about something that sounds noble, because it is noble. He's a warrior. Now that his father's dead, he wears the mantle of king. He's a warrior king. I mean, that sounds awesome. It also sounds like I don't ever want to say he's whiny, because he'll probably kill me, because that dude is freaking scary. But he moves onward into the very next sentence, and he says, as king and as warrior, what do you think is going to keep your friend from me? Do you see how self-focused that is, how self-centered that is? It is about his satisfaction in getting Bucky Barnes. In fact, now that Bucky's arrested, being extradited to Wakanda, it's a means to an end for Black Panther. It's a means to get his hands on Bucky Barnes, to get the satisfaction of killing the man that killed his father. And I feel like I see that further illustrated in the airport fight. When they're fighting in the airport, as soon as the fighting starts, the first thing Black Panther says,
Barnes is mine.
I mean, for him, it's all about what he can do to go after Barnes and take this guy down. That's what the vendetta does. Black Panther is a dude who has sound judgment. He has a clear mind. He thinks things through. But vengeance and bitterness is so self-centered and so self-focused, it's also self-poisoning. It's poisoning his judgment. It's poisoning his heart. It's poisoning his soul. It's poisoning the essence of who he is, because that's what unforgiveness does. That's what that bitterness, that's what vengeance does. It has that poisoning effect, and it destroys the good that is inside, because you can't overcome evil with evil. You can't repay evil for evil and think it's not going to create more evil. But I think he knows this, but his vision is tunneled. And so he's not looking at the bigger picture. He's looking at this. What wakes up T'Challa? What wakes up Black Panther? See, what I love is, though at this point he's still consumed with vengeance, there's reason left in there. There's a spark of that goodness left in there. I mean, he's not a bad guy, even though he's going through all of this stuff. He's going through such a difficult time. And what happens is he sees Zemo face to face. And in following Tony Stark to Russia, he finds out Bucky Barnes was framed. That he was after the wrong guy, trying to kill the wrong guy. And the tunnel vision he had prevented him from seeing that truth. It took him sneaking up on Cap, Iron Man, Bucky, and Zemo to be the guy on the outside looking in to finally get that perspective. So there he is out on the snow, and it looks like he's about to go kill Zemo. And then he finds out Zemo and him are on the same path. Zemo lost his family in Sokovia, so he's experiencing the same pain as Black Panther. And experiencing the same pain and anger and bitterness as Black Panther, he's seeing how Zemo is experiencing the same tunnel vision. So Zemo's trying to take control over this situation and destroy the Avengers from the inside out with this huge, elaborate plan that involves framing a dude for a crime he never committed. Who cares the cost to Bucky? It's all about pulling on that thread, playing that pawn to rip apart the Avengers from the inside so that they can never stand, so that they can never be built. It's so self-centered, he's not looking at the cost of what it's costing all those around. He's not looking at the destruction it's caused, even though he's angry at them for the destruction that they've caused. So vengeance is all about control. It's all so self-centered. And now the Black Panther's seeing this. He's seeing the end of the road of vengeance. He's seeing where it leads. He knows that Tony Stark is back there walloping on Captain America because of vengeance. Because Barnes, under Hydra's influence, killed Stark's parents. Stark doesn't even care at this point that Bucky wasn't himself. Doesn't care that it was Hydra conditioning. He's going to kill Bucky for the murder of his mom. And if Steve Rogers is going to stand there in his way, then he's going to mow down Rogers if that's what he has to do to get to Bucky Barnes. It is destroying the Avengers. So now being on the outside looking in, seeing the end of the road to vengeance, it's a revelation. And he had that spark in him to where he could see the truth and receive the truth. And when he saw the truth and he let the truth in his heart,
Vengeance has consumed you. It's consuming them. I'm done letting it consume me.
it's amazing how vengeance is destructive, and how vengeance was not destructive towards Zemo. Black Panther's feeling of vengeance was destructive to his very soul and his very heart, impairing his judgment, giving him tunnel vision so he wasn't looking at the whole picture and looking at the truth. But as soon as he saw the truth and he let it in his heart, and he surrendered his need for vengeance, it's amazing the healing then that took place inside, and how that healing and overcoming evil with good was so much more powerful than his own road to self-destruction and vengeance. It was so powerful that we get this epic moment at the end of the movie.
Your friend and my father, they were both victims. If I can help one of them find peace.
I mean, his entire mind, his entire heart towards Barnes has changed from letting this guy suffer and die to what can I do to help him? He and my father were both victims. If I can help one of them. What a powerful thing. Evil will never ever succeed in being as evil as good is good. When you look at Romans 12, it says, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, 'It is mine to avenge. I will repay,' says the Lord." On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head. Now that sounds like vengeance to me, honestly. Just reading that, it's like, wow, that sounds kind of mean. So you're being nice just to heap more fire on their heads. Until the heart gets addressed in this very next verse. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. See, the thing about evil is you can't fight evil with evil. If vengeance is in your heart and bitterness is in your heart, then you know it's power. I mean, I've been mad at people for stupid things. And in being mad at people for stupid things and holding that grudge against them over dumb things, I have felt the power of anger. I have felt the power of bitterness in something small and ridiculous. It's powerful. It really is. I can't imagine when it's something huge and it's great and it's like, yeah, but that person deserves the punishment. But Jesus took that punishment on our behalf so that we can be set free, so that we can experience his forgiveness and his love. And that power that he had to love, he puts that in our hearts. He gives us the ability to love like he loves. Forgiveness is also for you more than anything else. It's for you. And it sets you free of a prison, and it sets you free from poison, and it restores the soul. So if you saw Captain America Civil War, what are your thoughts on this movie? Are you excited for Black Panther? Let's talk about it in the comments. While you're there, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified for the next theological analysis I drop and movie review I drop. Black Panther, can't wait for that. Hit the bell so you're notified when my review of Black Panther drops, and then my spoiler talk for Black Panther. I cannot wait to see this movie, and I cannot wait to dive into it. So make sure you hit the bell so you're notified when all that drops. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.